If you are part of a Chama or an investment group, I urge you, sit down, listen carefully, because we are about to unearth nuggets of wisdom that will change the direction of your Chama or investment group. I'm very honored to be amongst some very distinguished ladies. They belong to a Chama, and we are still debating whether it's a Chama or investment group, so that too is up for discussion, but stay tuned in. Let me just pass it on to Catherine.
Yes.
Catherine.
So hi everyone, my name is Catherine Maina. A member of Denari Investment Group.
Hello, Andrea here, also a member of Denari. She didn't say she's our chair, she is our chairperson. I am acting treasurer. Acting is the word.
Acting.
Acting, yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Josephine Kiruku. I'm a member of the Denari Investment Group, or Chama. We'll figure that out by the end of this. I'm a member, former chairperson. Thank you.
So fantastic. Chair lady. How did you find yourself in a Chama or investment group, which we still have to determine what it is?
Sure. So I think the urge amongst us was to find a way of making our money grow. And we realized it's one thing to do it on your own, but the moment you put money together as a group, you're able to even do more. So that's what really pushed us into that space.
What do you mean more?
What do I mean more? So I can give an example. Is if I was saving as an individual, and maybe the amount I'm able to save in a month is 5,000 Kenyan shillings, and then we come together as a group of 5 people, and each person is able to remove 3,000, that would take us to 15,000 contribution monthly. So if you compare the two, with the 15,000, even the interest rate, if it's per annum, we're able to make a lot more compared to what I will make alone. So the desire is that we're able to grow financially from an individual perspective, but also to be able to grow as a group, because we realize we have one similar goal, to create generational wealth. So we were like, let's work together.
Multi-generational wealth.
Multi, that's even better. Yes, multi-generational wealth.
Yeah, more than one generation. And I like it, the fact that we are actually, the 3 of us here, the same group. And what I love about Chamas or investment groups, that everybody has their own thing, What brought you into this Chama? Andrea.
So what brought me to this Chama? So many things. Let's start with the fact that I was told by Catherine, there's something we want to do. Are you interested? That's how it started.
Yes.
I think I also had a very weird perspective on what Chamas are about and what they do.
Bad perspective.
Very.
Okay.
I'm not going to use the negative. Interesting perspective, because I'd seen a bunch of my friends doing Chama, and this is a conversation we'll have later, but a lot of them are merry-go-rounds, and for me it didn't make too much sense. So when Kate came and said that there's this thing that we want to do, we're looking for guys to join this Chama who have the same vision as us, I was like, okay, bet, I will try. Let's see how it goes. So how she packaged it for me made a lot of sense. Yes. Very, very.
She's a visionary.
Visionary. Okay, one of them, but yeah. So how she packaged it for me was very interesting, and it made me think about it a lot. And it actually really did make me excited, because you're thinking, my salary was not the best back then, but looking at how much I was making then and how much I could contribute, it would get me to a point where, oh my gosh, I have all this money, and it's because I'm in this team. I liked that, and that's one of the reasons I joined. Yeah.
Okay. And Josephine?
It's interesting because before this Chama, as friends we had another Chama, but we were very young. I think we were 2019. So when I say Kate and I, and then three or four of our friends.
Yes.
Back then, we were just doing it for the sake of just saving money together. We didn't have any direction, I'll just be honest. And so that, at some point, I think we put it in, was it? I can't remember the name. Somehow we invested, so we were getting like some amount of money, Old Mutual. Safaricom, something, yes. So anyway, so that died off. And then on a trip to Coast,
yes,
that 2021 should have been June, July, we're in the SGR seated together, and we started thinking, guys, we're friends, and we really literally have nothing we do together money-wise.
Yes.
So we can hang out, we just spend money together, not make money together.
Yes, yes.
And so we started the discussion, we pitched to a few friends, so we actually did a whole virtual meeting, pitched to a few friends that we have. Some bought the idea, i.e. Andrea, and others didn't feel so confident, which is okay because it was also very optional. And so the main reason, even for me, the personal motivation was we need to grow more beyond social capital, like also how me making like actual money together for not only us, and then also the other part was seeing the background that someone came from and maybe having not seen financial decisions being maybe made very wisely. I also personally saw this as an opportunity to be like a first in the generation to actually build something that's going to benefit not only myself, but as you said, multi-generations that will come after. So yeah, that was the motivation. I don't think I've ever even told this team here, but thank you for asking us. Yeah.
No, it's very interesting because I have also been part of Chama's investment groups, and it always starts, we are friends. We are having fun together. We'd go to Naivasha, stay there for a weekend. Then we are so inspired, we're like, "Bana guys, we can't just be friends. We need to do something. We need to do something that benefits all of us." And we formed a group, and people started contributing. Then we're like, let's put 5,000 every month. Then over some time, to some people 5,000 is too little, because now you start seeing careers. When the careers start flying, and they are flying at different speeds. You guys are contributing 100K, somebody else can do 1 million. Like, okay, guys, you're not changing my life. Can we move this thing can we move the gear higher? And others are like, no, So that sort of thing now also, those dynamics start playing. I can see the way you're smiling. It's like I'm touching some wires.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the social fabric is really what brings investment groups together.
Yeah.
And the most difficult thing for investment groups is really to find that one thing that unites you together and makes, and all of you believe in it and you're behind it, and you can assess it in your own individual capacity and say, this still makes sense to me 5 years later, 10 years later, despite all your career progressions. People start getting married, they start getting children. There's so many dynamics that will come into play. But I like what you said, we are here to create multi-generational wealth. And you've gone a little bit further to touch on something so important for most of us. Why this urge is so strong is because we are the first ones who have this opportunity to really create multi-generational wealth intentionally. Every other generation behind us has tried, failed, or succeeded and failed. So it puts a lot of heavy responsibility on us because now we have to think not just for this generation, but also for the future generations. So tell me, guys, have you sat down, put together a strategy or something that you can refer to Or is it still, are you still going through the stages of discovering what that big thing might be? What is this multi-generational wealth? How does it really look like? When do we start? Chair lady? Kathy?
Okay, so with Denari in mind, I would say that we are still finding our way there. So we have the end goal in mind, but we are walking the journey. So, and I think as with anyone else, even as you walk through any journey, there are potholes, there are roadblocks, there's all that. And I think even as a Chama, we've had quite a bit of those. So right now we're still trying to find our way there, and we're really hoping that this conversation can help us move a little further to our end goal.
So I think then we can make it as one of the important, because there are many people who are listening to this conversation. You are a Chama or investment group. Hey, we are going to keep saying this. You need to have that one thing that is documented that will keep you guys sober, especially in moments where you can have conflict, you know, and you need a strategy. So that's one of the things. And you will be tracking Denari. But the Denari has something to do with money, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. What does where Denari?
It's really not that deep, honestly. It's not that deep. It's we suggested a bunch of names, and we were like, oh, Denari is actually a currency in the Bible. So let's do it.
What does it mean?
It's a currency. It's a currency. It's really just a currency. That's what I'm saying. It's really not that deep. So, and we are all believers. So, Bible principle, biblical principles, Bible name. Yes.
Okay. So tell me, this multi-generational wealth, how does it look like in your mind?
Individually or as a group?
First of all, individually, because I'm sure it is the individuals that come together, isn't it?
Okay.
You can start.
Okay. Pressure. Ooh, spotlight. For me, multi-generational wealth is, this is just very, but building an empire. Where the things and the systems that are working, whether or not I am directly involved. So am I able to set up things, structures, businesses, whatever it is, so that you see there's profit, and then there's profit of the profit, and then there's profit of the profit of the profit of the profit. Oof, excitement. So that's where I want to be. That's what I see for multi-generational, where we have people who work in line with their purposes without necessarily thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have money for this. So another thing that also pushes me is also to become a kingdom financier. There's so many churches, so many ministries, so many organizations that are struggling, that are based on biblical principles, that are churches that don't have the funds to do what they need to do. So that for me would be another thing, another legacy I'd love to leave. That it's not just me who's being a kingdom financier, it's something that will be with my children, the children of my children, and so on. So that is me.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with money.
Pesa ni nzuri. Money is good. Money is great. It's more, I want to build my money for sure. So that I'm also not in a place of like, guys, sina rent, sina yo. But wanting it to get to the point where, again, I don't have to think about it. Umesema that people wanted to give $1 million as a monthly contribution. I'm like, I tap into that. I tap into it. So yes, I do want money. I do desire to have that and to have the freedom, whether or not I can do this, I cannot do this, I can choose to opt to do this. So that freedom, that not tied to this is my slave, that I can't not do what I want and desire to do because I have to still make my money somehow.
Okay.
Cool.
Josephine, we've been so much on the
chairlady.
Let's give her time.
Yeah. So for me, I think recently I've been researching on companies that I've seen existing since I was a child.
Yeah.
Like KSL Suites, your Bitcos, and when I look at most of these companies, they're actually Indian-owned companies. And you find like it was set up by the grandfather, then the son took over, then the son, then like the Chandaria Industries. And so from a believer's perspective as Josephine, I have this very big vision or desire that we would also see that in the context of also kingdom people, like believers, that it's not just I'm setting up a nice hardware, because that's what mostly you see, like the grandfather set up a hardware, but the son came and akakula pesa yote, so there's no more money, and then now that business just dies. And so what I've been trying to, so for me, from my perspective, is being able to build something that will outlive me as Josephine. And again, borrowing so much from what I've seen in those companies, because I was researching almost every other company. I'm seeing an Indian face. The other day, I was somewhere in Eldoret, I see Ketia distributors, and I go Googling what's Ketia, and I still see it goes back to Indian companies. And so I'm just like, there's something to learn from there, because you see most of them are also family, sort of like family managed, but also with the qualifications. Somebody may say, oh, nepotism, but I'm also like, they're also qualified to really run these businesses. The motivation I also got on building something multi-generational was, there's this lady, I don't know, I'm forgetting her name, but she owns Samchi group of companies. I think it's a distributor for Safaricom.
Yeah, Esther Mushemi.
Yes, Esther Mushemi. I've read her book. And she was saying how even her children have gone ahead abroad, like they studied, then now they are some, I think both of them are still working within her company. And from her perspective, she was also thinking of, how do I sustain these businesses that I've managed to set up? I don't want them to just disappear by the time I leave. And so that's the same thing. And the third thing is, my dad is a motivation as well. So in 2020, he had a scare that I think sort of became a trigger for him to now think, what am I going to really leave for my children? And he actually did a very interesting thing. He sold a property he had for a long time, which after the realization, I think there's some life-defining moments we get. He realized, oh, I could easily just disappear. There's nothing. I've not put structures, because that's the other thing that comes into this. I've not put structures that are going to support my children. And we're just my sister and I. And so, you know, it's like, my daughters, I need you to, no matter what happens in life, I need to ensure you're taken care of. And so sold a piece of property, and he did set up some houses. And then he told us something interesting. I think I've told Kate before. He built the first and second floor only. Then he told us, this is enough for me and my wife. That is him and my mother. That's what he told us, because they're a bit elderly. He said, this is enough. Whatever I'll get from this is enough for me
and my wife.
So you two, you figure out how you're going to ensure this goes up. Like that, I've
given you a platform.
Exactly. And so that, with that thinking, it's now again another motivation being in this Chama. It's like, how can I also leverage the Chama that I have, the investment group that I have, the resources I get here? How can we even partner? Can it be something we live and end up doing together? And so that's how my thinking is when multi-generational wealth is concerned.
Interesting. So businesses outlasting us. Okay.
Okay. So from my perspective, individually, then as a group, individually, I think they've touched on a few things that would cut across. One of them being having room for generosity without having to worry about it. I think the goal is being able to, first of all, take care of the needs of yourself, your family, your loved ones, but also then have an impact on other individuals. So that then comes in with the aspect of financing things kingdom, just also having room to be able to do that with comfort, do that with ease.
Yeah.
Jos has really touched a lot the matters on the Indian companies and whatnot. I think that for me is a trigger, because I'm like, why don't we have as many African companies doing the same? You know, leaving something for your children to manage, or even if they don't manage it, something that they can be able to either learn from, build their own empire from, may not particularly be to take the same field, but it then gives them a leg up. Because what is happening is that most of the times we are having a generation that is more held onto black tax, whereby now our financial goals are kind of linked to us taking care of our parents. And I think for us, we want to kind of change that narrative so that we're moving away from it being backwards for us taking care of our parents to our children not having to worry about us and us having given them a head start when it comes to matters finances and just settling in that area.
It's interesting, and let me I don't want us like to be passing the mic like, I want us, let's just have a real conversation, isn't it? If you feel, you just say, I am feeling this one.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Okay.
Why build multi-generational wealth using a Chama or an investment group? You can do it by yourself, or she can do it by herself, isn't it? Why is it that a Chama is necessary to build multi-generation? Others have done it individually, isn't it? I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but what are your thoughts about this? Let's just be very unbound. We talk about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'd go back to what Kate, sorry, we call her Kate. Kate said at the beginning.
From now you'll be Kate, eh?
Yes. What Kate said at the beginning, that we realize that if I save 2,000 alone,
yes,
for every month of the year, I'll just have 24,000. And then I'll just be making decisions as Josephine.
Yes.
I won't have, like, I feel like I'll only have a very linear perspective on things. I'll be like, this seems to work for me. So when I look at it from a Chama / investment group perspective, it's how can pulling funds together to do more. And I'll take this to an example that may not be very famous. How people in the African society, we pull funds for, like, say, medical funds, funeral. We do that a lot. And I think recently I've been in so many groups. Yeah. And I saw, like, when people are like 100 in a group, and each person just says, I'll give 1,000. You'll find there's enough money to sustain whatever they need. Yeah. And then if you find, again, if you were just alone, that would have felt like a very heavy burden. Yes. So this, I know we'll not go deep into that fund. That's a whole conversation. Yes. But I've seen, because I've just been thinking, like, there's a group I think Kate and I are in, and I'm seeing it as like, is it like 200 members? And I'm just like, people just give 200, 500, 100. Like, people are not even giving like huge amounts of money. But that pool brings into a huge amount of money at the end of the day. Yeah. And so that's the same concept when I think about a Chama. Yeah. How can different people, so the money part of it, but I'm also looking at the informational resource part of it, because I feel Kate would know something that I don't know absolutely of, or Andrea would know, or our other members. And so that information, when we bring it together, we analyze and say, what are the risks, what can we get into, and so that will eventually help us to move ahead. That's how I look at it.